Praise the Lord, YouTube. This is Brother Philip coming again this week for this week's lesson on Pentecostal podcast. This week I'm going to be talking about, the title is going to be Breaking into a Prison. So I'm going to be talking about prisons that were in the Bible and just examples of prisons. And the meaning of prison here is a building for the confinement of persons held awaiting trial, persons sentenced after conviction. And also the second meaning is any place of constrainment or involuntary restraint. So even if you're not in a physical building, you could still be in a prison. So physical prisons or spiritual prisons, they both exist. So this is going to be a two-part lesson actually, because I thought it was going to end up being a little shorter. So I'm going to have all the Old Testament topics this week, and then I'll have all the New Testament topics on the next one. So the purpose is to list from the Bible the prisons, explain them, and explain how to escape. Some of the versions of escape are not going to be good. You'll see that. Explain why we as Christians shouldn't worry if there are prisons. And there's also going to be prisons we don't need to escape. There's going to be prisons that you should probably be in if you're a Christian. And then there are some that we can't escape. This is probably a pretty odd title, Breaking Into a Prison. So I just wanted to catch your attention. This is just as much about breaking in as breaking out. So again, just catching your attention. I'm going to be talking about physical and spiritual prisons in this lesson. In 1 Corinthians 10:13, it shows a way of escape. Here's what it says: "There is no temptation taken you but such as is common to man. But God is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able, but will with the temptation also make a way of escape, that ye may be able to bear it." So that's just saying that there's always a way of escape. No matter what you're going through, the prison, the hard times that you're going through, God makes a way to escape it. You don't just have to live through it all the time. So now a prison can be any place. It doesn't have to be a building. So I just wanted you to mention that because there's definitely prisons in the Bible that are not actual buildings. So the first prison I'm going to talk about is Joseph's prison. Actually, it's the very first prison mentioned in the Bible. So Joseph, he was cast into this prison. He was unjustly accused. He didn't do anything wrong. He was just doing everything that he was supposed to do. He's being a righteous man, and he was cast into prison because he was accused of adultery with Potiphar's wife. So here we have from Genesis 39:7 through 20. "And it came to pass after these things, that his master's wife cast her eyes upon Joseph, and said, Lie with me. But he refused, and said unto his master's wife, Behold, my master wotteth not what is with me in the house, and he hath committed all that he hath in my hand. There is none greater in this house than I, neither hath he kept back anything from me against thee, because thou art his wife. How then can I do this great wickedness, and sin against God? And it came to pass, as she spake to Joseph day by day, that he hearkened not unto her to lie with her, or to be with her. And it came to pass about this time, that Joseph went into the house to do his business, and there was none of the men of the house there within. And she caught him by the garment, saying, Lie with me. And he left his garment in her hand, and fled, and got him out. He left the situation immediately. He didn't even worry about consequences. He just knew it was wrong, so he left. And it came to pass, when she saw that he left his garment in her hand, and was fled forth, that she called unto the men of the house, and spake unto them, saying, See, he hath brought in this Hebrew unto us to mock us. He came in unto me to lie with me, and I cried with a loud voice. And it came to pass, when he heard that I lifted up my voice and cried, that he left his garment with me, and fled, and got him out. And she laid up his garment by her, until his Lord came home. And she spake unto him according to these words, saying, The Hebrew servant which thou hast brought unto us came in unto me to mock me. And it came to pass, as I lifted up my voice and cried, that he left his garment with me and fled out. And it came to pass, when his master heard the words of his wife, which she spake unto him, after this manner did thy servant to me, that his wrath was kindled. And Joseph's master took him and put him into the prison, a place where the king's prisoners were bound. And he was there in the prison. And then just to paraphrase the rest of the story, because it's like almost 2 chapters long, the story goes on to tell us that he was highly favored in the prison. He became like right below the keeper of the prison. He was basically in charge. And there was a butler and baker that each had a dream. They were the Pharaoh's butler and baker. The butler was restored to his position as the butler was restored to his position as the Pharaoh's butler, but the baker was hanged and killed. After 2 years, the Pharaoh had a dream. And then the butler told him that Joseph could interpret dreams. So this was interpreted by Joseph to mean that Egypt would have 7 years of plenty, and then it would have 7 years of great famine. So I've already shown how Joseph broke in to the prison. He broke in because he was unjustly accused. But now let's see how he breaks out. So here we got in Genesis 41:33 through 40. Now therefore let Pharaoh look out a man discreet and wise, and set him over the land of Egypt. And let Pharaoh do this, and let him appoint officers over the land, and take up the 5th part of the land of Egypt in the 7 plenteous years, and let them gather all the food of these good years that come, and lay up corn under the hand of Pharaoh, and let them keep food in the cities, and that food shall be for the store to the land against the 7 years of famine, which shall be in the land of Egypt, that the land perisheth not through the famine. And the thing was good in the eyes of Pharaoh, and in the eyes of all his servants. And Pharaoh said unto his servants, Can we find such a one as this is, a man in whom the Spirit of God is? So Pharaoh was a very ungodly person. He served multiple gods, idols, everything. But he still noticed that the Spirit of God was in Joseph. I just find that to be really impressive. And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, Forasmuch as God hath showed all these things, there is none so discreet and wise as thou art. Thou shalt be over my house, and according to thy word shall all my people be ruled. Only in the throne will I be greater than thou. So let's look at this. Joseph's breakout would not have occurred if he wasn't living for God. If he wasn't being righteous, it would have never occurred. He was a righteous man. He was unjustly accused. And he wasn't bitter about being imprisoned. He just allowed God's Spirit to move when he was there. Whatever situation he was in, he was satisfied with it. He just did his duty.